Hello, this is TeamFairness.com, and of course, you're on YouTube. I think that's a fact that would be hard to prove as being false. I think we'd have a very strong agreement that we're here on YouTube together, and the time difference is a very interesting topic. But first of all, I want to talk where I left off yesterday with the video. I'm cheap. You can tell because I don't even have the wherewithal to make quality videos. I don't have any money. I'm spending my savings. As all I have is Social Security payment coming in. And there are those that are trying to take some of that away, if not all of it. Where I left off yesterday, my left wrist was starting to hurt quite painful. It was painful, and it was not movable very much. And right after that, something took control, apparently, of my smartphone and closed the video. Then right after that, a guy comes back on a bicycle, an older man, like my age probably, and he said to me he was going to make me eat shit. And I'm just observing for my higher power, something unknown. And I had the impression that somebody got their hand cut off, their left hand. Isn't that what Muslims do? That if they steal something, they cut their hand and their foot off. Wasn't mine. I still got my left hand, right foot, right hand, left foot, whichever it is. Okay, let me see. I'm thinking the controllers are complaining because I won't slow down and I won't shut up. Well, I'm asking for something unknown to help them, so they appreciate my speed in bringing about heaven here while we're still living, where they're forgiven completely and they don't have any guilt from their past. And their past, we will not look into their past, and they won't look into ours. And all the enemies become friends because we're saving each other's life. And so about the time the video closed yesterday, there was a couple of box elder bugs. I don't know if you know what I mean. They're black and red, and they're some kind of they have wings. They can fly, but they rarely do. Google it, box elder bug. We have lots of them in Utah, where I grew up here. I'm in Orem, Utah now. It's a beautiful place. Timpanogos, it's right by Timpanogos, Mount Timpanogos. I think the word is an Indian word and it means sleeping maiden or something like that. The silhouette of the horizon from some specific location. I don't remember exactly where. I think it's from Heber area where you can see the silhouette. There's Timpanogos Cave in American Fork Canyon. And in that cave is the heart of Timpanogos. It's a rock that's shaped like a heart. I want to go up to that cave again. I haven't been in there for years. When I was young, it was like you could just go pretty much when you wanted and get right in. Now you have to make an appointment that might take a couple weeks where there's an available position. It's that popular, and there's so much more people here now than when I was a child in Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts. Mormon church. And the Mormon church would make these salt sculptures, like mold, like a molding substance. Why did I trip up on mold, like a black mold that kills people or something? There was like a red alert in my mind when I said the word mold. We use clay to mold things, and this was a type of a substance to make sculptures with. And I had the dream that the woman was making devil heads with them, and I didn't know she had a mold to make them rapidly when I had already escaped from her clutches and was headed across the ditch on a plank that was across the ditch. So there's all these coincidental things pointing toward that I have Joseph's coat in Dream World. Okay, so the two box elder bugs, it reminds me of Twitter and Tweeter that Ted Owens talked about years ago when he came out with a short publication pamphlet or short book, I don't know which, that was teaching people how to make contact with aliens. And he called the ones he had contacted Twitter and Tweeter before they had the computer. And they were insects. And they could enable him to create tornadoes. And they told him that Space Shuttle's Challenger was going to blow up, was going to be a disaster. And the people thought he was a lunatic or whatever. They thought he was crazy and they wouldn't believe him. So he told Jeffrey Mishlove, that has a program called New Thinking Aloud. I've been watching the original program for years and years. It was called Thinking Aloud. And anyway, he wanted Jeffrey Mishlove to tell him to stop the launch. There's going to be a disaster. They won't believe me, Jeffrey. You got to stop them. And Jeffrey says, Ted, they're not going to stop me either. They're not going to believe me either. And so it launched, and the O-ring fell from the cold weather, and 7 astronauts burned to their death. Okay, this is like new topic time, and it's basically about two things. On Christ consciousness as compared or opposed to Luciferian consciousness. And was Christ Lucifer? Or are they two separate beings? Oh, it's linking back to the Twitter and Tweeter bugs. My spirit friend's telling me that those beings that were threatening to blow up the planet yesterday, that were manifesting through the two box elder bugs, all of those are almost extinct. And that's a couple of the remaining ones. I don't know. But it got rather dicey yesterday, like as in knives, cutting things. Oh, they wanted me to be their knife and some crazy stuff. I'm just kind of interjecting some memories that are coming to mind from this other dimension of the spirit, that I have a very strong, very direct connection to it. They tell me the future all the time in my dreams. So I've done a little bit of research on Luciferianism and Luciferian consciousness, and I don't have a problem with either side. I just don't have a problem. I have a problem with the controllers in both sides, the people that are unfair to me in both sides of that. And there's mind controllers that are detrimental to me in both sides. I'm being told to shut up, or I'm hearing the word shut up. I don't know if it's directed at me or not. It's my turn to make this podcast, this video, and I'm not going to shut up. And it just might be that I don't ever shut up. That's a possibility. I like the 1 minute method that I designed. So if there's disagreements while we're talking, you get your turn for 1 minute, nobody can interrupt you, and then I get my turn for 1 minute, nobody can interrupt me. And it's, designed for small groups. So I'm just kind of going free form here. So the topic of Luciferian versus Christ consciousness is kind of completed. And the mind war against me and us is not completed. I'll talk more about that until they stop attacking. Because when you're in pain, you try to do something about the pain. Even if you've made an agreement, your subconscious is going to try to get away from the pain. So, yeah, on the way back from the coffee shop, a different coffee shop, it's a Redmond, they have Redmond salt, the real Redmond salt, like keeping it real. And it comes from a salt mine in Utah that's kind of a red color. And it's block rock. It's like rock salt. And they mine it. And when I was a kid, would buy granulated Redmond salt to feed the sheep. We had sheep. And that's one of the tools you use to control them in the herd. Because they like to come to the salt to eat. And they lick it up and they eat it to their fill, and they go to sleep that night up on top of the hill because they like to go up at night. Sheep are naturally this way. And then first thing in the morning, they're thirsty. So they go straight down to the water hole, the river, typically a small stream somewhere. And they take their fill of water, and then they're heavy with water, and they're hungry, so they take their time browsing their way back up toward the top, because they know there's going to be salt there. So it makes the sheep herder, the shepherd, it makes his job much easier, knowing that. So that's just some trivia. You might find it interesting. Some of the names that where I was doing this are interesting. Devil's Pass. That's where I herded sheep myself when I was alone for a week or 10 days or something as a young man. And up on top of the peak there at Devil's Pass, this big dark storm came in. And I started wondering about the devil, and if I was in danger. So anyway, walking back from the coffee shop, they are all stirred up over there again, like a hornet's nest that somebody stirred up. And they're giving each other crap, and they're trying to clean it up. And they're trying to give me crap, and I'm just staying no